I'm asked over and over the same question, like, do I recommend a mom moving here to Gambia while your husband is in the US or traveling, you know, back and forth? You know, would I recommend that lifestyle? I have mentioned several times on the channel that that is a lifestyle that my family has. You know, me and the children are here, and my husband is still working in the US and he travels back and forth. So I'm asked, like, do I recommend? But I just want to mention, in fact, like, how that move worked for us. So it wasn't that, you know, me and my children were just brought here to Gambia and left here, and then my husband went back to the US. That wasn't the situation. So whenever we first moved to Gambia, I had already had my grandmother was here, and also my uncle, which is my mother's brother. He was here with his family. So whenever I first moved here to Gambia, my uncle was actually my neighbor. Like, if I went out and stepped out on my porch, I could see his front door. Like, from my porch, I could get to him very quickly. So since then, he has moved back to the US. My uncle has moved back to the US. But most of the time, you know, I was here with him, and also my grandmother, you know, she's here. My sister and her family, basically, like, we started out with 21 family members, you know, that moved all at one time from the US. Well, all at one time, but like right behind each other. You know, we moved here from the US. So I will say, if you have the option to wait, okay, because I'm going to get into what I'm going to get into what my options were. But, you know, if you have the option to wait and come with your husband and your whole family, that is going to be better. That will be the best case scenario. Okay, so because it's not easy, irregardless of how easy it looks, like online, there's nothing easy about the process and the separation, and, you know, like, yeah, like your family being separated, that's not easy at all. Okay, so first I had the option to stay in the US maybe for a couple more years, until my husband felt like he was in a place where in a better financial position where he could just like leave his business 100% in the US and come to Gambia and start over, you know, or start another business or whatever, you know, here. I could have stayed there and waited a couple more years to see, you know, if we would be able to move together and stay here together in Gambia. That was one option. And the other option was that my husband would come here to Gambia with me and the children and stay, get us set up, get us situated and everything, and then he would travel to the US for a few months and then come back here a couple of months and go back and forth. I chose the second option. At the time, my children were in a state of emergency, and I'm talking about the older two, Adam and Aaliyah. If you've been watching the channel, you know my older two children, Adam and Aaliyah. Especially Adam, my son Adam. You know, it was a serious situation. He was just involved in a lot of different things. He was just going down the wrong path. It was very dangerous. I was really fearing him getting into serious trouble. So had my children not been in trouble, I probably, to be quite honest, would have tried to wait, or would have waited longer so that we could all come together and stay here. So that would be the best option. Okay, what do you do if your husband doesn't want to move? If he says no, you know, do you move anyway? So this part of the video is going to be for Muslim women. Okay, in Islam, the most important thing to do is to keep the family together. I would not think that it would be a good idea to, even if you can fund the move yourself, even if you're, you know, you have your own money, you have your own, you know, you're able to do it financially by yourself, for you to say, okay, he doesn't want to come, he doesn't want to make this move, so I have to make hijrah, and I have to, you know, protect my children, so I need to move from this kafir society. I'm going to go anyway. I'm going to do it on my own. I definitely don't think that that would be a good idea. As far as being a Muslim woman, the obedience to the husband, happiness to the husband, it's a top priority in our religion. You're worshiping Allah, practice, pleasing Allah, worshiping Allah, and then next comes the husband, pleasing your husband, being obedient to your husband. A lot of people are not gonna like that, but it is what it is. This is our religion. It's not me, it's our religion. So you can't say, okay, I have to leave the US because I have to protect my children, but at any expense, if it ruins my marriage, or I have to get a divorce in order to do that, then I'm going to be willing to do that because I'm putting my children first. The only way that I would recommend to go ahead and move like without your spouse is if he is in agreement with it and it's not going to put your marriage in a risky position. I wouldn't like, if you are in a situation where your marriage is already under strain, or you feel like you're heading for a divorce, and then this move is gonna push it or possibly be the last straw, then I would say to give it some time, put it off. Of course, you always make istikhara. You have to make istikhara, but you wouldn't want the move to be the thing to actually break your marriage. It's more important for you to keep your family together, because the move could be more ideal later on. It doesn't have to be exactly at the time that you want it to be. Of course, as Muslims, we know that we're tested all throughout life. You're going to be tested. Even when it comes to the opportunity to make hijrah, you're going to be tested. We're all tested. I was tested. I had the option, and I'm still being tested, obviously, but I had the option, stay in America, wait. It could have been 2 years, it could have been 3 years. I don't know how long it would have been, but I knew what was going on with my children at the time, and I had to leave. We had to be in another environment, but still at the same time, like I said, if my husband would have just said no, if you go, we're going to get a divorce or something like that, then I would not have just left anyway and said, oh, well, this is what I have to do for my children, so I'm going to get a divorce. No. So if those are the options that you have, if it's going to possibly break your marriage, then no, I wouldn't recommend it. The move is no joke. Like, it does put strain on your marriage. It does put strain on your family. While you're adapting and adjusting. So I know of several different cases. I know of couples that got divorced because one didn't want to move and the other wanted to move. I know both sides. So like, the husband didn't want to move and the wife wanted to move. So they just got divorced and the wife moved. And also, like, the husband wanting to move and move to Gambia, and the wife not wanting to move, so they got a divorce and the wife stayed in America. I also know of couples that have moved here to Gambia as a family, and they've gotten divorced because the transition put too much strain on the marriage. So you have to be careful and take care of your marriage and make sure that, of course, hijrah is important. But as we know as Muslims that divorce is halal, but it is also the halal thing in our religion that Allah dislikes the most. So it's more important for you to take care of your marriage and then and do it in the best way. That's just my best advice. That's the best advice that I can have. I've also been getting a lot of questions about like safety concerns in Gambia. There's a lot of information circulating out there. I had said I wasn't gonna talk about this on my channel, but I'm not going to get into specifics. I'm going to talk like really general because I just hate drama. Like, I really hate drama. But generally, I will say that I feel safe here. As a mom of 9, I am here with my 9 children, with my husband, traveling and being in America for several months at a time, and I feel safe. I know that there are things circulating around the internet about women, they're losing their lives. Instead of getting into the things that are going on here in Gambia, what I wanted to do is I wanted to share about the lifestyle that I live personally, that I feel like keeps me feeling safe and actually does keep me safe here in Gambia. If I'm out going into an unfamiliar environment, like out into the countryside or in a place where I could be attacked or something like that. I have my teenage son with me. I take my teenage son, although he's a teenager, he's big, like he looks like a big man, I take him with me. I don't go into questionable places like by myself. I actually try my best not to go anywhere completely by myself, and that's just the sunnah. It's always the sunnah, to be with someone, so that, like I said, I stay home most of the time. I live a very low profile lifestyle. I try to limit the things that I'm involved with. I don't hang out on a regular basis. I have a very selected few people that I will spend time with. I don't meet with people independently that I've met online. Of course, like I've met with people, and I'm happy to meet people, subscribers, from YouTube and everything, but I don't do that by myself. I don't I always let someone know my whereabouts. And so there are measures that you have to take, and I'm walking on eggshells here. I am, because I don't want to trigger anyone or say the wrong thing. I know that there are people that have lost their loved ones, and it's very unfortunate. But to answer that question, do I feel safe? Yes, I feel safe. Like, my children are still out here in Gambia, free, going to the shops and the stores by themselves, enjoying outdoors. And I don't feel like I'm a target, or I'm telling you how I feel. I feel safe. Definitely safer than I would be in the US, where people are missing, murdered daily. No matter what state you're at, no matter what state you're in, people are constantly missing children, women, and teens, and just all people. So if you're in America and you're questioning whether Gambia is safe, so it was extremely difficult for me to talk about those things that I just had to mention. It was very uncomfortable, but I felt like it was necessary for me to address those topics. I'm actually in the process of doing like a whole how to move to Gambia type of series. It's not a series, because it's gonna be like maybe like 3 or 4 parts, so I didn't want to call it like a series, where I wanted to be able to interview so I had seen in the comments about like why don't I interview families, or why don't I talk about like how you can move as a family. So I felt like this would also be a really good time for me to mention. Whenever I was getting ready to, or I had the idea to start having a YouTube channel, I went to my husband and I asked him if he mind. I asked him how he felt about it. How did he feel about me being out online, me having a YouTube channel, having videos, and just being out there, like putting videos of myself constantly, out into the world talking. I asked him how he felt about that before I started a channel, and he told me that he had no problem with it. He didn't have any problem with it, but he also made it very clear to me that he has no interest in being on YouTube or being in any videos. I'm sorry for those that keep pushing it, like they're like, oh, well, you need to bring your husband, okay, well, I'm not going to bring him because he doesn't want to be on videos. I don't have a consultation service where I'm out looking for housing and apartments to help people make their transition here to Gambia. That is something that process is very lengthy. It's very time consuming. It's very stressful. If I did it, I would have a full-time job, and it would be a very high paying one. It's something that I cannot afford afford within my time to be able to do. I'm a mother of 9. I have 9 children. I have a new baby. Like, my baby's 5 months. I cannot be out here looking for housing. I didn't even find my own house. I didn't find my own house. So, you know, I wouldn't be out here looking for housing and apartments, you know. So I just wanted to mention that again, because I keep getting that question. If you email me, if you send an email and you ask me, you know, anything I'm able to answer in an email, I will be more than happy to. I have no problem. I have no problem letting you know whether I would recommend a specific city, a specific neighborhood, you know, the process about going about looking yourself. I have no problem with that. But me physically, I will not go out and assist people with that move. I just can't. I don't have time. And so for myself as a woman, I would not put myself in that position anyway, you know, to be able to do that. So I'm really sorry, but I had to mention that and bring that up again. I wanted to bring on a few other people who moved to Gambia from America and allow them to share their story and interview them, allowing them to share their story, you know, just to help with just hearing different people's backstory and how they were able to make the move. I felt like it could be very beneficial. But before I went on to do that and make like a part 2, I felt like it was really necessary for me to make this video. I'm definitely going to talk about like how to get residency and how you can stay here and the do's and don'ts. I got like so many questions that I'm very excited about answering, you know, but like I said, I just had to make this video first. These things had to be addressed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.